watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. Let's talk about the heavy rain and thunderstorms drenching parts of the DMV. More set to be on its way. Take a look at this video out of Maryland. Our crew saying that this is over at Brighton Dam Road in Brookville. And you can see right here the waterway overflowing by 2 feet and just flooding that area.
Yeah, also in Montgomery County. This is in Colesville. Crews really had a heavy job here moving this fallen tree. It came down, crashing down earlier. See how high the water is there, about 2 feet up. This is just a powerful video here. All right, we have team coverage tonight. Our Ben Dennis is live in Bethesda. He's been traveling around the DMV, keeping an eye on flooded roads and weather damage.
But first, we're getting right over to Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. Janessa, we've seen the flooding, the trees coming down. What else can we expect?
Yeah, we have that DMV first warn in place going into your Thursday. Everything's on the table for tomorrow, from damaging wind gusts to that flooding rain and hail that is going to be on the table for tomorrow afternoon. We're talking about a very strong cold front colliding with temperatures that are going to be near 100 degrees for tomorrow afternoon. We did have that flash flood warning out towards central Montgomery County. The nature of these storms have been them stalling out. So they've been sitting across regions of Montgomery, Silver Spring, parts of DC metro area, and then just hovering across the region. It has allowed for low-lying areas to see some flooding. But here's the big weather story. When we go out to our reporters, no coats on. The humidity is super high, and it is not nice, breathable air that we are seeing. We have to wait for the arrival of this cold front, and that'll enter tomorrow. Overnight lows super uncomfortable as well. Folks, the heat, the humidity, and the storms, they'll be at play for tomorrow. The timing is important. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
All right, Janessa, thank you. The storm's causing quite a mess in so many areas.
Yeah, they've been knocking down trees, bringing down power lines, and leaving plenty of families, well, in the dark. Flash flooding also popping up, especially across Montgomery County. That's where we find DC News Now's Ben Dennis joining us live tonight in Bethesda.
And Ben, you've been traveling around the area. Kind of tell us what you've been seeing in your travels.
Hey there, guys. Good evening. One moment the skies would turn gray, then black, and all of a sudden open up, dumping buckets of rain down onto the ground below. And yes, especially here in Montgomery County. And it's here near downtown Bethesda where Pepco is still working to restore the power. And it's sticky out here, as Janessa had mentioned. Air conditioning coming at a premium. Check out some of the views from earlier today in Montgomery County. First, the damage we first started documenting in Silver Spring, this quiet neighborhood where a large tree brought down power lines, knocking out the power here. Storm swept through around 2 o'clock initially before several other bands. Pepco's crew told us they had turned off the power here to make repairs, but keep a safe distance away from the wires that you could see clearly scrambled across the wet pavement. And then we got reports of flash flooding, several. Right here first, on this road completely covered by 2 feet of fast-moving, murky water. The smell anything but pleasant. This is at the bottom of a hill on Brighton Dam Drive in Brookville near Olney, Maryland. And one homeowner had to turn around, couldn't get home, unable to get through. The same goes for Bob Carlson. He was on his bike. He had told me a recent project was under works to fix flooding problems here. However, issues still impacting the local area.
There was 2 vehicles that tried to traverse here. They got bogged down and they had to get towed out. They did a bunch of work downstream to hopefully open up the area so that we wouldn't have this backup here, but doesn't seem to work, or it was just too much rain here.
And it was a lot indeed. Bob Carlson's wife Valerie took this photo of drivers who opted to drive through the water. An officer on scene told me that nobody was hurt, good news, and as we made our way to Bethesda, we passed this crew, as you can see, on I-270, where part of the tree hung over the shoulder. Plenty of roads then in Potomac still holding on water as rainbows started to appear overhead. Now, Pepco says if you do have an outage, or Dominion down in Virginia as well, you're urged to report it. They have outage maps on their websites as well. Pepco and Dominion both have indicators of how long as well it might take to bring the lights back on. in Bethesda. Ben Dennis, back to you guys.
All right, some powerful images there, Ben. Thanks. All new tonight in Virginia. A man is accused of cutting two people while breaking up a fight in Prince William County. It happened on Bay Vista Drive in Woodbridge on June 2nd. An 18-year-old and 19-year-old got into a fight. Police say Joshua Gingrich then stepped in to break that fight up and slashed them with a box cutter style knife. The victims were taken to the hospital. Gingrich was arrested, now facing malicious wounding charges.
New tonight in Maryland, a major shakeup in Prince George's County government. The new county executive is sworn in, and Aisha Braveboy immediately making some big changes, including replacing the police chief. DC News Now's Tim Reed has more on the new direction families are set to see.
Wednesday afternoon, County Executive Aisha Braveboy appointed George Nader as the new police chief for Prince George's County. Nader says he's ready to hit the ground running, and Braveboy says this is a new direction to improve public safety.
We want to say welcome to you, Chief George Nader.
Braveboy quick to take action today, appointing a new law enforcement head. George Nader brings 32 years of law enforcement experience. He most recently served as deputy chief for Metro Transit, overseeing Homeland Security, intelligence, and investigations.
I like to say that I am a man of faith, and I do believe that the Lord puts our path in front of us, and it's up to us to take that path.
The truth is we need someone here who's going to be committed to being in Prince George's County. And that is key because we have a lot of work to do. And I know that in George Nader, we have someone who has shown that commitment.
Nader grew up here in Prince George's. He replaces former Chief Malik Aziz, who was a finalist for police chief in Phoenix, Arizona.
Chief Aziz is no longer the chief of this department. And again, he is pursuing, as you all are very well aware, he's pursuing other options. And so we wish him well.
Braveboy believes the new chief is the best person for the job and will lead a new effort of community policing.
I have such a passion for this job and this profession.
Chief Nader says his first day on the job begins Thursday morning, and he's looking forward to serving this community. In Largo, Maryland, Tim Reed, DC News Now.
We have new details tonight about a new curfew we could see in parts of D.C. later this summer. Mayor Muriel Bowser proposing emergency legislation. It's aimed to prevent large teen takeovers like you see here in Navy Yard and the Wharf. If passed, teen curfew will be set an hour earlier at 11 p.m. every night through August. It would also include 17-year-olds. The proposal gives police an option to begin a curfew in some areas at 7 p.m. for up to 30 days. Neighbors, though, they've got mixed responses.
Traveling in groups, you know, you don't see just one of them around there. They 5, 6, 7 of them. So I think if they have a curfew, limit the amount of people that's together, I think that would help.
I mostly see it as it's not a total solution. We need to think more on like what we can do for the kids to socialize safely.
Council is expected to consider this legislation on July 1st.
Happening now, the Supreme Court has upheld a Tennessee ban on gender-affirming care for children. The law blocks children from getting puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgeries. And it comes as there are new federal and state efforts to regulate the lives of transgender people. In the dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor is saying the ban is inappropriately limiting parents' rights to make decisions for their children's health. The Supreme Court ruling drawing a crowd of protesters to rally against that decision, and despite the rain, pushing them indoors. DC News Now, Dave Laval joining us live outside of the High Court there. And Dave, what did those demonstrators tell you?
Well, good evening to you, Susan. What we can tell you is they're angry, they are upset, and as they gathered earlier this evening to protest the High Court's ruling, they remain committed to protecting trans rights.
So the question isn't whether we'll fight, the question is how hard we're willing to fight.
Jay Brown objects to Wednesday's U.S. Supreme Court ruling allowing Tennessee to ban gender-affirming care for kids.
Will we watch our kids be pushed into the shadows, or will we stand with them in the light?
Brown is the chief of staff for the Human Rights Campaign. For him, the issue of transgender rights is personal.
I'm a dad. I'm a trans man. When I was 6, I'd pray every night that I'd wake up a boy. Nearly 20 years later, with the support of my family, my friends, and my doctors, those prayers were answered.
Brown shares his thoughts at D.C.'s Lutheran Church of the Reformation. Heavy storms forced the protest indoors instead of at the Supreme Court.
I was a trans youth that had no support whatsoever.
John Clark of Brentwood, Maryland, also spoke out against the ruling. Clark fears what the decision means for other trans youth.
When I was a teenager. And that's real. Kids won't survive if we cut off care to them.
The medical evidence continues to come in showing that this is not an appropriate treatment for kids.
Tennessee's Attorney General on the ruling that likely protects the 26 other states that have laws similar to his. Maryland and D.C. protect gender-affirming care for children. Virginia has not taken any action on the issue. Trans supporters like Kiara Johnson are not giving up their fight.
Beware. Because we are growing and the swell is undeniable. All right now. We are coming for our freedom.
Protest organizers said the district will be part of a nationwide protest on Saturday, but they're still working out the details, including when and where it will take place. We're live at the U.S. Supreme Court. Dave Laval, D.C. News Now.
All right, staying in the district, council members meeting to go over the mayor's 2026 budget. It's a $21.8 billion plan. Mayor Bowser says it will generate jobs while supporting city services and programs, including $30 million for the police department to increase hiring and to create a new horseback unit, $270 million for teacher pay raises, and $681 million earmarked for building a new stadium and parking garage at the old RFK site. But not everyone's happy with this proposal. The Ward 5 council member saying it does not do enough for families.
We're on the brink of tens of thousands of residents losing health benefits, housing benefits, resources to feed their families and to put food on the table. And while I'm not interested in pointing fingers, it is the responsibility of our government to take care of our people. And I don't think the budget before us does that adequately enough.
Well, council is set to take its first vote on July 14th.
The district is on the international stage for soccer. The first of 3 FIFA Club World Cup games is happening right now at Audi Field. Thousands of people in the area for the game, and local businesses are really feeling the excitement. Juventus, Italy's football club, hosting a fan festival. The team is saying that the fan base from around the world are in the district for this match. Local bars and restaurants are having these teams. They say it is great for business.
Any kind of promotions we can bring in, any kind of new customer base from outside of the Navy Yard is fantastic for us. New people that haven't been down here before, that don't know what DC sports is about or what DC venues are about.
Audi Field will also host matches on Sunday and next Thursday. The mayor giving many bars across D.C. a special license to stay open around the clock during these 3 games. So you can be out there cheering them on late into the night.
At all hours and roll in the work. All right.